Hey there, Start here, back again with one more rank 1 clear against the Abominable Snowbeast. I know it's, Cal's almost over. Holidays just being crazy. This is pretty much the only time I've had to actually do any kind of clears, much less any kind of like recordings for you guys. But hopefully for those of you that like to wait till the last minute, maybe this video will be helpful for you. This was the team I was going to show you guys, that I was going to record for you guys yesterday, before Barrel crashed the party. So if you saw my previous video, you know I got very lucky by pulling a Barrel on the video summons, like the daily video summons that we get. Those things have been kind of hit or miss with me. So sometimes, like I got lucky on the lock banner, I got lucky on the with Avon. Back on the Dragon Quest banner, and then on this one. But other than that, I've pretty much gotten skunked on everything else. So fairly hit or miss on the video ad summons, but it does feel good when you do finally get a banner unit on those for free. But anyways, I digress. This was the other rank 1 clear that I was going to record for you guys. I mentioned that I was going to do a Genesis clear. So this is the Genesis clear that I was going to show you guys. So very similar team construction to my previous clear videos, but yeah, these are the units that I'm going to use. So let's go ahead and get in there, make sure we get it done first, and then I'll come back and show you the gear. All right. Alright, so it's going to look pretty similar to, like, every other clear that we've done. Same 3-turn rotation. This one should be a 9-turn clear, similar to the Barrel clear that I showed you guys yesterday, where we just kind of do 3 bursts on, 1 on turn 3, 1 on turn 6, 1 on turn 9, and yeah, we just kind of ramp up the damage each time. We're actually going to do our biggest burst on turn 6 this time. We're just going to go ahead and do the big one on turn 6, and then we're just going to kind of clean up on turn 9. So we'll do a small burst on turn 3, big burst on turn 6, and then a cleanup burst on turn 9. All right, so let's get in there. First thing, Elena's just going to set up all her mitigations, her cover mitigations, and elemental resist buffs there. Sylvie is going to start off with her 85% mitts to keep everybody alive, namely to keep Elena alive. We'll do Paladin's Resolve for some regen and some barriers, Elemental Vines for the 200% Earth buff, and the Magic mitigation. Melissa does Shared Immunity for any ailment resists, Chronic Flow to get the morale flowing, and Parasol Shield for the beast and human mitigations. Alright, Genesis, on this turn, he's going to do Loveless Final Verse. What that's going to do is that's just going to set him up to make sure that he has a mag store for the burst on turn 3. Okay? Frosty here is just going to, we'll do Glacial Snap for 89% defense and spirit breaks, as well as the attack and mag breaks, and then we'll just do a... we'll just do a couple of Defiant Blades, I think, yeah. Hyoh is going to go ahead and do his, actually, no, sorry. He'll do that next turn. So he's going to do Infiraga. So this first burst is just going to be like a small one. It's not going to be very big. So we're just going to do Infiraga, so everyone will have a fairly weak amp for the first burst, but that's okay. Okay, and then he's going to do a Refined Stance, and we'll do Daunting Aura. Okay. Alright, and then Frosty will do Glacial Snap for the breaks, and then hit the boss twice with some fire. Okay, as you can see, Sylvie does have Blizzard Orbs equipped, so she can counter if for some reason, Elena were to die. It's very rare that she dies on that turn, but it is a distinct possibility if her cover mitigation rolls low and the boss rolls high, right? So there is a possibility there. but it's very, very rare for her to die on that turn. All right, now Genesis is going to do his LB for the 35% Sword Imperil. We're going to do with Frosty here, he's going to do his Anthro and Demon Guard for the killers, and end with a Katana Flick just for to hit the boss. It also does like 500 morale every time you use it. Hyoh is going to just chain on the boss, I think. Well, he'll do Mighty Flame for his 100% amp, so he'll at least get a 100% amp here. Actually, no, what am I talking about? No, he's gonna do his LB. That's what he's gonna do. And then Sylvie's gonna shift. Do I've Got Your Back on him. Followed by Poached Demon on him. And Paladin's Offense. That's what we want to do. Just double checking myself, yep. Alright. Yeah, let's go ahead and just do that. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, because we don't really care about dealing damage right now. We're going to do Beast Killer on Genesis, Human Killer on Genesis, and Minutes of Might for the LB damage buff. Alright, Elena is going to do her cover again just to re-up that. Crystal Echo. And do a Kuraga to make sure she's healed up. Although she shouldn't really take much, if any, damage on this turn. Okay. So you can see the team is taking very little damage thanks to all of the mitigations we have. Alright, so this is just going to be like a little baby burst here. Nothing too fancy, nothing too significant. Oh no, actually I don't want to use that. We're saving that for next turn. What she will do is come back. We're going to do Elemental Vines again, Paladin's Resolve, and Compassionate Night. Genesis will do his Epic Purgatory. We're going to do Beast Killer on Hyoh, Human Killer on Hyoh, and I will just do Dragon Killer for the morale fill. Okay, and that should be all we need here. Go ahead and send them. Alright, so we'll chain up these three, let Genesis cap. I'm actually hoping not to push the 75% threshold on this turn. Hoping to be like closer to 80%. The reason being, if you pass 75%, the boss does a lot of extra attacks. It's a pretty devastating, but you know, if we do, it's fine. If not, great. Okay, so let's go ahead and chain it up here. All right, perfect. 82 is good. We're well away from that first threshold, and that's fine. All right, our next burst should be quite big because we're going to use our big amps. We're going to use our big imperils. We're going to use all that good stuff, and we're just going to hit the boss as hard as we can. Okay, Sylvie's going to come back. She's going to do her Brace Shift at LB on this turn. That way it is active on turn 6 for the burst. We want to make sure that she uses it now so that she can chain with Elena on turn 6 so we get our chain count score. All right, so she's going to go ahead and do that. Genesis is going to do his SLB because the boss needs to be hit with an LB on this turn, or else he's going to do some extra attacks, which will be quite devastating. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do our Arcane Supplementation as well because we want this one to be sort of our biggest burst. We're going to do Solitary Sword Dance and... oh, actually, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. So, Since Frosty doesn't have a way to imbue himself with fire, I gave him the Crimson Steel card that has the ramping fire amp. Okay, so that way he'll have a 100% amp on turn 6. So I'm going to use that now. If you don't have it, don't sweat it. Just have Rain imbue him with Infire again. Okay, and that'll be fine. We're saving Rain's ramping amp for our last burst though. Okay, so I'm going to use this now. All right, Hyo's going to come back to normal. He's going to do Crimson Undermine again. We're going to do Daunting Aura again. And oh, I forgot to use his Mighty Flame. I knew I was forgetting. Wait, didn't I use it? I thought I used his Mighty. Oh no. I did his LB. That's right. Never mind. Okay, and then we're just gonna do Breaker Claw Magic, just to hit the boss. All right. Wait a minute. Let me just make sure. Crimson Undermine. Oh, he needs to imbue himself, doesn't he? Yeah. Blazing Brand and Daunting Aura. Okay. So Genesis will take care of hitting the boss with fire and doing an SLB. We don't need to worry about buffs because Sylvie already did that. Genesis hits. Elena is going to do her Celestial Guard for the 90% mitigation, re-up her cover. And we'll do Barblazaja. Okay, Melissa is going to do her SLB on Hyoh. That way his brakes are up and ready again to use on turn, whatever it is, turn 6. Okay. I'm just double checking myself. Yep, that should do it. And this will also provide 80% general mitigation for the party. Okay. The party should still be covered on, all the other mitigations and everything. Alright, so this is good because now Elena can also contribute some damage because she still has her mod boost from her normal LB. Alright, so we're going to come back, we're going to do Grace of Procyon, Blessing of Sirius, and we'll just hit the boss with Judgment of Beetlejuice, why not? Alright, now Frosty will do Arcane Supplementation. He'll do his Solitary Sword Dance. And we'll just do a Katana Flick to hit the boss, right? Genesis is going to do all of his setup with Elemental Burst, Fill LB, Loveless Preface for the Mag Store. Alright, Sylvie is going to do the Demon Killer on Hyoh. And then what else should she do? I guess she can just do a couple of clever Paladin Strikes, try and refill her own LB. Melissa is going to do Beast Killer on Genesis, Human Killer on Genesis, and we'll do a Curaga for Elena. Alright, Hyoh is going to do Refined Stance, Ultimate Flame, and we'll just do Breaker Claw Magic, I guess. Okay, and that should do the trick. I'll go ahead and send all of these. Alright, and this should do a little bit of chip damage here, maybe like 1 or 2%, not much. Alright, 3%, that was pretty good. Alright, so now he does a bunch of elemental damage. Alright, so that's why it's a fairly safe turn, because it's mostly elemental damage, and we have a lot of good elemental buffs between, Elena's buffs and Sylvie's buffs, so pretty much covered there. Alright, so now Sylvie is going to chain triple Bolting Strike with Elena. Genesis Caps. Alright, we've got SLB from Frosty. Alright, Brave Shifted LB on Hyoh. Alright, and we still have all of the LB buffs from Sylvie up, which is great. Alright, make sure... okay, looking good. So then we'll do Beast Killer on Hyoh, Human Killer on Hyoh, seconds of support on Hyoh for the mod boost to his LB. Okay. So I'm going to let Sylvie and Elena start by ramping up the chain, because Frosty is a TDW unit, so he's got the 8 times chain cap, so it'd be good if the chain was already ramped before he starts. And then, yeah, so I'll do Sylvie and Elena first, let the chain ramp, then send Frosty and Hyoh and Genesis. Okay? So now we're going to pass 75%, which means Elena is probably going to die. Certain party members might even die. Hopefully not, but they might. So we're just going to see how it shakes out. If people die, it's really not a big deal. We've got Sylvie there to re-raise us. It's no big deal, really. Okay? So let's start Sylvie and Elena. Oh, I forgot to imbue Elena. That would have helped. That's all right. I forgot to use Hyoh to imbue Elena. It's all right. We still did almost 7 billion on that turn, which is fantastic. Okay. And we're close to 30%. But we didn't pass 25%. Okay, which is fine. If you had passed 25%, then no big deal. Yeah. Yeah, I meant to use Hyoh to do an in-fire Raga on last turn so that Elena and Sylvie are imbued with fire. I forgot to do that. Make sure you don't forget to do that in your run. All right, so this time Melissa's actually going to use her SLB on Genesis so that he gets his amp back in time for a burst on turn 9. Okay. Elena's going to come back. Okay. There's a good chance she will die on this turn, but hopefully not. But she might. All right, Sylvie is going to come back. All right, we're going to do Elemental Vines, Paladin's Resolve, Compassionate Knight. We'll go ahead and do the Defense and Spirit buff for her. All right, she's going to do all of her cover, mitigations, and buffs. Okay. Because really, at this point, we just want to make sure that the party survives. We don't care if Elena can die all she wants at this point. It's really no big deal. All right, Genesis on this turn is just going to do... What's he going to do on this turn? I think he just does his SLB again because we need to hit the boss with LB damage to make sure he doesn't kill us. Hyoh will come back, do Crimson Undermine again. We'll do Daunting Aura again and Blaze Weapon to start imbuing everyone with the ramping Fire Amp. Okay. Frosty can just do Anthro Guard, Demon Guard, and Katana Flick. Okay. Go ahead and do the Attack and Mag buff, why not? Alright, and it's okay to do a bit of chip damage in these 2 turns leading up to the burst, as long as you don't go over 25%, because then he'll put up a buff, and that's not good. You don't want that. Okay, so now Sylvie comes back. Alright, we're going to do Demon Killer on Genesis. We're going to do Paladin's Defense. And... well, I guess we'll hit the boss. Alright, Elena is just going to once again cover. Do Shining Provocation so she has at least 75%. And then we'll do Shelga for the magic mitigation. Alright, we'll use Temperate Will for the ice and earth buff. Alright, Genesis, all he has to do is Loveless Preface. Frosty just does, on this turn, just does Triple Defiant Blade. That's all he really needs to do. His SLB won't be ready on turn 9, obviously, because he's only EX2, but that's fine. All right, and Hyoh is just going to do. We'll just chain it up with his breaker claws here to make sure he has a full LB gauge. And in fact, we could actually do some chaining with Genesis as well. We'll do quad. We'll do triple Fira and Loveless Preface. All right, Melissa will come in and do Parasol Shield for mitigations, Beast Killer on Genesis, Human Killer on Genesis. Go ahead and do our attack and mag buffs. Okay, and yeah, we should be good. So hopefully do a bit of chip damage. Hopefully don't go over past 25% though. Yeah, okay, no, not even anywhere close. That's fine. That is fine. All right, so we got 31% left, which means we need to do about like 4.5 billion on this turn. Okay, should be able to hit that, I think. All right, we'll do LB here, Genesis. We'll do Purgatory. We'll do LB, LB. And as soon as we're done auto casting, Hyoh will do his LB as well. All right, so we'll do Beast Killer on Hyoh, Human Killer on Hyoh, and we'll just do, yeah, I guess we'll just do Minutes of Might, why not? All right, come on Hyoh, stop auto casting. All right, so now we can switch. Everyone has a 100% fire amp. All right. And we should be buffed and ready to go. So let's, yeah, hopefully this cleans up the boss. We need at least like 4.5, 4.6 if we want to shave off that last 31%. I think we should get that. We'll probably even do, we might even hit the damage cap again. We might even do 5 billion more. We'll see. We'll see. Let's find out how we do. All right. And let's go. Boom. All right. Cleaning it up. $4.7. Okay, wow. So yeah, just enough to kill the boss there. If I had remembered, if I had remembered to imbue Elena and Sylvie back on turn 5 with Hyoh using Infiraga, we would have done over 7 bill easily on our turn 6 burst, which would have put me in a much more comfortable spot. So as long as you don't forget to do that, it shouldn't be that close to kill the boss on turn 9, but there you go. That's how we do it. All right. So there you go. You see Hyoh and Genesis basically carrying the fight. Frosty, you know, if Frosty was EX3, he'd be able to do a lot better just because, you know, his because his SLB would line up on all the burst turns, but you know, it is what it is. He does his big burst on turn 6, and you know, helps out get the job done. Obviously, if you had like Ayabria, she would be much better in place of Frosty, but I don't have her, so I had to use my Frosty. But I'm glad I got to use him again, because you know, so many times these units get like one Clash of Wills and then they're basically thrown to the curb. You know, Frosty kind of felt like he was going to be one of those because they completely removed ice from the weakness list on this cow boss. But luckily I was still able to work it out so that he could get in here and do another Clash of Wills. Looks like the next Clash does have an ice weakness. It might be a minor weakness though. We'll find out. So maybe he'll get to come back again next Clash. We'll find out. All right, don't care about farming. Already done with that. So let's take a look at the gear. Run through this real quick. Party elemental resist and defense and spirit mods on, so you see what that looks like. All right, so Melissa, basically just geared for bulk. You know, if I was thinking about it, I would put another Sylvie basket on her for the earth resist, but she doesn't really need it, as you can see. Priest Vengeance for the morale fill counters. Mystic Tenacity for permanent mitigations. Her own vision card for morale fill, and that's pretty much it. Elena, just geared for bulk and for ice and earth resist in her normal form. You can see with those defense and spirit mods turned off, it greatly reduces her spirit. If I had turned off those mods, she'd be hitting like 17,000 spirit, so it definitely shaves off quite a bit. The Cyclopedia Mythica is the one that does the permanent demon mitigation, but it's not necessary, but it is helpful. It is helpful for when she dies, and when she gets back up, she at least has a little bit of mitigation, but it's not necessary for this clear, so don't worry if you don't have that. This is the ice card that you get on random pulls. You may not have pulled it yet. If not, just use her own vision card on her, and that should be fine. In her Brave Shift form, again, just geared for bulk and for elemental resists. Not quite as much as the last one, but I did gear her for killers in this one. So she's got full beast, human, and demon killer, and LB damage. And if I had remembered to imbue her, she would have dealt at least a little bit more damage on that burst turn, but, you know, we still got it done, even though I forgot that. Alright, Hyoh in normal form, basically just all the Clash gear. He's got lucid lenses, but that was for another strategy where I thought he would need it. He actually already has a form of guts, which I believe we saw that get activated after our turn 6 burst. So he doesn't actually need 2 forms of guts, but in a previous clear I was doing, he did, but the way I restructured it, he doesn't need that anymore, so you can honestly take that off. Priest Vengeance for morale fill counters, Flaring Ether Rains card. We don't really care about damage in that form, but in this form we do, so full on damage, everything that I've got on him. Make sure we've maxed out his killers and LB damage. Medine Synergy for to finish capping up his chain speed. Alright, and that's good to go. Sylvie, Empress Rod, and Treasure Memorial Ring for turn 1 morale fill. Also a Blizzard Orb for counters. Otherwise, just bulk her up. Melissa's card for morale fill. Pretty much same thing, except she's wielding her sword in her basket in her Brave Shift form for extra bulk. 2 Blizzard Orbs for extra counters, and yeah, that's pretty much all she needs. Genesis, he gets Prophet's Diadem because that's what makes him so powerful, along with, of course, the Moonlit Parade vision card. You could also use Dazzling Demoness. He doesn't need the Magister's Ring, but I gave it to him because I don't feel like converting it to an Emperor's. Chocobo Feather there is for guts because he does need it after passing the turn 6 threshold, just to make sure that he doesn't die, because that way you can retain his SLB and use it again on turn 7. Okay, so that's what that Chocobo Feather is there for that 1 stack of guts for that turn 6 after you pass the threshold. He can wear his coat, which comes with 500 static mag. That way you can give Clash of Wills gear to other units. His Genesis coat is perfectly fine on him. Here's the gear that we use to cap up killers. Noble Magitech Knight there is just for to cap up his MP and also give him a little bit of spirit so that he doesn't take too much damage from the uncoverable magic attacks. Okay, I believe he is capped on Demon and Human, but not quite capped on Beast, but that's fine. He still does a ton of damage, as you can see. Alright, so Frosty, he's wielding katanas and fists, so he can take care of his own katana in peril as well as Rain's fist in peril. He gets the Ruler's Celestite because Genesis is wearing Genesis's coat. Otherwise, just high attack gear and capping up his killers and LB damage. So he is good on Beast, Demon, and Human, full LB damage. And as I said, he's got the Hero of Grandshelt card, which comes with the Crimson Steel ability to give him the fire ramp. If you don't have it, just give him a really strong fire card. Just give him a really strong vision card, if you know, the strongest vision card that you have, and just have Hyoh imbue him with Infire Raga again for the turn 6 burst. All right, that would be my recommendation. Or bring Aya. Aya Bria would work even better here. Okay, so that's the team and the gear. Hopefully this was helpful to you for those of you that are going to do your cow at the last minute, get those last minute clears if you haven't done so already. Hopefully this team can help you get across the finish line. So thank you guys so much. Hope you guys have had a really happy holidays, and I will see you on the other side.